Yo, 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 what is up, everyone? Happy Wednesday! Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone's doing very, very well. Without any further ado, let's get my fat head on the screen and see how we are looking today. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Ooh, this looks like I'm wearing a fucking toupee, boys. What's going on here? Ooh, looks like I'm wearing a little bit of a toupee. This is what happens when you get into your mid-30s, you know? Your hair starts doing very strange things. Makes you look like you're wearing a wig, you know? BTC looks strong. Stronger than my hairline for sure, yeah. Happy WAGMI Wednesday. Yes, we are all, it's confirmed. The market has now confirmed that we're all going to make it, which I'm delighted with. Because it was a little bit touch and go for a while. But yes, Bitcoin has confirmed that we are all going to be rich, which is a good thing. That's always a good thing to hear on a Wednesday. Always a good thing to hear. Exactly, confirmed. There are no doubts. What's up, DK? DK with the 5-stream streak. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, boys. Beerlack with the 5-stream streak. All the 5 streamers coming out. What is up? How you doing? What's up, 9Manny? What's up, Sizz? Yo, Follis, wanted to ask you in Chroma. Ooh, it's gonna be juicy, but I may as well just plop it here. If you have a range, when do you pay attention to the range or the F or VP? You use them both in Confluence. I will say this. Range is drawn from a purely price action perspective. Wow, lots of alliteration there. Tend to have... There's a lot of discretion involved, right? Because some people draw their ranges, they use the wicks, some people use the bodies, some people use, you know, where it makes visual sense to draw the range. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can slice that onion, I'll put it that way. The thing about volume profiles is there isn't that much discretion. You obviously pick when you start the volume profile. Ooh, look at that. Who was that? Obviously you pick when you, Victor with the star viewer, you dirty dog. You dirty dog. Obviously you pick when you anchor the volume profile, but other than that, it's pretty automatic. You know, it draws your value area, it draws your high, it draws your low, it draws your POC. So that's all automatic. There's actually comparatively quite a small amount of discretion involved. So for that reason, one of them is going to be more accurate than the other, right? The one with less discretion, a lower level of discretion, is always going to be a little bit more accurate because it's just reading the data on the chart, right? It's not like where you think the range looks good, you know? So for that explanation, I would say you can use both in Confluence, but one of them is based on volumetric data that's in the chart. The other one is based on, you know, what looks good here to my eye, and only one of those is going to be accurate. At the end of the day, good question though. In future, you can ask those questions in trading questions because it's good. That's you know, that'd be a good one for the members to. That'd be a good one to. Speaking of trading questions, someone just emailed me a trading question. That's interesting. Do you see that, Marquise? I don't think I've had that before. Hi, Follis. Just checked out your video on auction market theory and wanted to ask a follow-up question. I love that. It feels like I'm living in 2006. A follow-up email to a YouTube video. That's awesome. How you doing, Bullet Felix? How you doing, Beerlack? How you doing, DK? Hope you're well. What's up, Veslin? Good to see you, bro. Ayo, never done that. Thought you had to pay for ducats. Bruh, how long have you been in the stream? You thought you had to pay for ducats. Ducats. Earn ducats by watching the stream, engaging with the chat, or using those commands. Come on, man. That's stream 101 here. Stream 101. Everyone in this chat right now, if you've been watching, you're gonna have a lot of ducats. The ducat economy is strong. If you're on a 5-stream streak, you're gonna have a few thousand ducats probably. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna accept that. See, this is how it works. Ah, there you go, 420. See? I'm a bad dueler. Yo, what's up, Phil Ninja? 90k tomorrow. 80k potentially. Yeah, what's up, Victor? What's up, Marquise? How we doing? Yeah, star viewer. TTG, what's up, my man? Gamble all. That's the downside. What's up, Oz, bruh? My man. Thanks for the explanation. No problemo. No problem. Mowing. What's up, Gatsby? Love to see the Chroma team on stream. Yeah, it's been a comparatively long time since the last time they were on stream. Suspiciously long time. Just look at this. Is what happens. The bull market. We push up into the, you know, high 70Ks, and all of a sudden the boys come out to play, you know? Suspicious. I can repost the question in trading questions so you can explain this all over again. Yes, I love typing things that I've already explained verbally. That, you know what? It's a good use of my time, is what it is. It's a good use of my time. Appreciate you respecting my time. We're missing a few, yes. Yo, what's up, Vahu? How we doing? I'm not reading that bullet, Felix. You think I'm like Ron Burgundy? Just read everything off the autoprompter? What's up, Sawyer? What's up, Vert? All right, boys. 12 minutes till New York Open. We're going to do a Predictorino. You know the rules. You know the rules. Bullish or bearish? 10 minutes. Let's get it going. Let's do it. Bullish or bearish? Let's get her going. Yes, we are live on X. What's up, Jake? What's up, FN? What's up, Sis? Yes, we are live on X. We're live on YouTube. And we're live at Twitch. What's up, Belisarius? Have I seen the Asteroid Shiba? That sounds like... I've seen Asteroid, and I know what Shiba is. Are you telling me that someone has combined them? Because that sounds not good. That sounds like a derivative of a derivative. A derivative of a derivative. We've had those before, but I'm not sure if it's the I'm not sure if it's the right market conditions. What's up, Grey Gorilla? Can you see my comments today? Monday was fuckery. Yeah, you were responding to comments that I couldn't see on Monday for sure. How you doing? What's up, CC? WAGMI Wednesday. Exactly. Hope we're all doing well. Yes, live on X, live on YouTube, and live on Twitch. We actually just shy of 7,000 followers, or subscribers, I should say, on YouTube. We're on 6,998, which is great, which is fantastic. But you know, hopefully we'll get to 10K this year. That'd be nice. That wouldn't be so bad. Do you think there's a chance that the macro bottom was 60K? I mean, of course there's a chance. Absolutely there's a chance. I have been betting on that not being the case, but absolutely I could be proven wrong. You know, maybe BTC goes to all-time high from here and I'm just left sidelined and coping. And if that happens, then that happens. There's no point crying over spilt milk. The read will have been wrong on my behalf, but I have reason to believe that the bottom isn't in, and therefore I'm waiting for lower. And look, it's, you know, it's like the video I posted. Can we get a link to that video actually? Is in the chat, the strong opinions loosely held video, because that was good. That was a good video. The one that I posted yesterday was a good video. That was a clip from last week's stream, just talking about like how you should have a bias as a trader, but you should also be, you know, you should be confident in your own bias and willing to execute on your own bias, but also flexible enough to disregard that bias if the market presents you with new information, right? You should always be willing to be proven wrong by the market. Market is never wrong. So with that in mind, you know, looking at current BTC price action, do I think the bottom is in? No. But will I change that if we trade up into the, you know, high 80Ks, 90Ks, start reclaiming the value area from November to January? Yeah, I'll probably start changing my tune. Put it that way. It's fine. We can all cope and chat with you. What's up, Haj? Hope you're well, bro. But yes, absolutely there's a chance. There's always a chance. The thing is, right? you should never be speaking in absolutes as a trader. Your job is not to speak in absolutes, not to say with 100% certainty that this is going to happen or that is going to happen. You speak in probabilities. You know what I'm saying? You assign probabilistic chances to a series of events, and you come up with action plans for those events. That's all you can do. We're not fucking soothsayers. We're not fortune tellers. Our job is not to predict what is going to happen. Our job is to wait for that thing to happen and then react based on plans that we've already made. That's what being a trader is about. You need to have the confidence to execute your own ideas, but also the humility to accept when those ideas are wrong. That's all you can do. If you didn't buy spot at the lows and you expect lower, when would you reallocate spot? So I've already said that my automatic buy zone is low 40s, high 30s. Max pain is 130, then 50k. But again, I'm buying that with a view of like, that'll be like the Bitcoin for my children, you know. Zach XBT is targeting meme core. I saw that, but the chart hasn't really moved. Have you guys seen that? Hasn't really been moved. It hasn't really been moving. Hasn't nuked. Maybe boss needs a YouTube one. Well, it'll go up on YouTube eventually. Doing well. Looking forward to hype, sweep the liquidity above, and maybe continuing further. Yeah, that's one that I just feel like I've missed out on, to be honest. You had a great point to mention, and I was invisible for some reason. Yeah, sometimes that happens. I used to have massive issues with changing bias. At the start, I had this weird obsession with shorting. Even if all signs were against shorting, it took a lot of L's to break that. Yeah, I think that one thing that people love being is contrarian, right? And that's just human psychology, especially if you miss a move, right? People always say like, oh, you know, like FOMO really hurts. That feeling of FOMO when price is sending higher. But actually, I find in my experience, the feeling that, or how that FOMO manifests is not necessarily guys jumping on longs, but it's actually guys trying to short strength, right? So let's say, and I'm going to jump into the chart for this. This is a good point to make, right? So let's say like you have this move, like let's say BTC is in range here, right? And you get this kind of a move, and then right? And you have Barry the Bear, right? Who was pretty bearish down here. He was kind of saying, nah, boys, this thing looks cooked. The macro is cooked. I think we're going lower. Nah, it's not gonna happen, right? And of course, you know, maybe he doesn't even short. Maybe he just goes flat. Maybe he says, I don't trust this potential upside. I don't trust this range low support to hold. I think price is gonna leg down. What happens, right? Price goes higher, okay? And all the fucking bulls on his timeline are celebrating. He's seeing P&L cards. He's seeing equity curves. He's seeing big flexes. He's seeing boys cashing out, getting watches, getting fucking cars. And then he starts feeling the FOMO, right? But that FOMO doesn't manifest as a top long, right? He doesn't say, fuck it. All right, I'm joining the bulls. I'm finally joining the bulls. I'm going to get involved. He doesn't say that. Instead, he tries to revenge trade because he knows that he feels conviction that the move is gonna, you know, it's gonna run out soon. It's gonna run out of momentum and it's gonna go all the way back down to the lows, and he's gonna be proven right, and he's gonna be the smart one. He's gonna be the one who is better than the rest of them. Silly bulls, idiotic bulls. He was the only one shorting logical resistance, etc., etc. It's an ego thing as much as anything else, right? So he shorts. Let's say he shorts here, okay, and he gets stopped. And then he shorts here, and he gets stopped. And then he shorts here, and this time, you know what? He's like, those fucking stop losses, man. Who needs them? And he just runs a trade with no stop, and he gets liquidated up here. Okay. If this story is ringing familiar, it's because most of us have been in this position. I can tell you, I know exactly when this happened to me. This literally happened to me in when we broke out of that bull market, when we broke out of that bear market accumulation in like January 2023, right? I remember this so well. Was it January, February 2023, something like this? I was shorting this move. Man, I thought, I was looking at this, I was like, bro, we're in a range. This is range high resistance, right? I mean, it's hilarious looking back on that now that I was short like 10 BTC or something, right? Which at the time was, I don't know how much it was. It was less than 200K, so infer from that what you might. But I mean, it's crazy to think, you know, if I just had the humility to maybe accept that I was wrong and just flipped long there, I would have potentially caught $1 million trade, right? But such is life. I was a pretty new trader back then, didn't really know what I was doing. But my feeling of FOMO, because I'd missed that move up from 14K to 10 to 20K, manifested as a desire to fade that move and prove that I was right. Prove that the bulls were wrong, right? It was an ego thing. And for that reason, I missed that move up in 2023. Because I was shorting. I faded and I blew up my portfolio, right? That is... It's a cautionary tale, and it's just one of the many reasons why you need to remove your ego from the trading process. Because otherwise, it's just going to get in the way, right? There's no room. You leave your ego in the door when you become a fucking pro trader. And I say that as someone who... It took me a few years to learn that lesson. A few years and a few blown portfolios to learn that lesson. Thank you, Vert. Keeping me hydrated. We can clip that. We can clip that. Yeah, we probably need to change the text there. It's a little bit. Brr. Yeah, I'm in my advice uncle arc at the moment. So someone said that the other day. Advice unk. Wise sage. Basically nothing to do today but sit and watch. Yeah, I mean, someone was asking, am I going to short here? I think, I don't know, there's a lot of momentum to fade here. I think one more leg up for sure. The short idea that I'm still looking for is something like this. Push up. I mean, there's a huge imbalance here. That's one of the things that I think everyone needs to be aware of. This low as well. I would not be surprised. How often have we seen that shit, man? I'm sorry, man. That always wrecks my head. Does anyone else have, like, a knee-jerk reaction when guys with motorbikes drive past your fucking house and it's so loud? Like, I'm blasting music and I'm talking very loudly and it's so loud that all I could hear was the fucking motorbike engine. Market just opened. Yes, it did. You know you've turned into an old man when that shit really bothers you. Fucking unk. New York has opened. Interesting session so far. We can probably look for... well, it's definitely uptrending. Yeah, maybe not. I was gonna say we could probably look for a reversal, but a little bit too much of an uptrend here. Latest X. No, I mean we have a command already for X videos, don't we? Marquise, can you assist on that, please? I ride bikes, so a loud bike will always be delighting to you. There you go. That's the difference between us. I am a civilized gentleman, and you are a ruffian. You're a scallywag. We're like that's the way. That's the only way to quantify it. What's up? What the fox? How you doing? Been looking at Sol, says Jake, for a super high time frame potential long trade if we get to major support level around $25. Jesus, $25. Yeah, you're asking about funding fees. I don't know what the current funding is on Solana. Ooh, pumpa. I don't know what the funding fees are like on Solana, but yeah, if you're holding like a super high time frame long, if you're saying you're gonna hold it for months or even as long as a year or something like that, you will probably end up paying a huge rake of funding fees. Yeah, because my understanding with majors is you know, it's gonna go between positive and negative funding. But more often than not, especially if it's trading at $25, there's going to be more longs than shorts. Therefore, funding will be negative, and you will end up paying shorts. Wow. What's up, Micro Sailor? Sorry. Funding will be my brain is having a moment right now. A senior citizen moment. The funding will be positive, and you will end up paying shorts. No, sorry, I had it right the first time. Can we change the command there? No, yeah, but latest X is a lame command. Let's change it. Opinions. Just do opinions. Please. Trapped shorts here. Last post, yeah. It's an evergreen video. What do you think of Vic's new system? Yeah, it's banger. It's a banger. Yeah, he's killing it at the moment with the trades. Just goes to show you don't need to target those huge 5 or 6 or 10 or trades. He's going for like 1.5 or 1.2 or, and he's killing it. He's crushing it. Not sure if Dex perps offer lower funding or something like that. Yeah, so you would be if you were long a contract that had where the perp contract was let's say long. There were too many longs on the perp contract to the point where it was pulling price away from the underlying spot contract. Then yeah, funding would be positive, and longs would end up paying shorts. So you're more than likely going to encounter that scenario. Sabrash, appreciate the YouTube sub. I think we're just one away from 7K now. You're more than likely going to encounter that scenario. Oh, we just hit 7K. Let's go! Yay! Let's do balloons. Yay! At last. Woo! Now we need to go to 10,000. Why not just do spot, Jake? Have I been intraday trading? Not at all. Zero intraday trading. Party parrot, party parrot, party parrot. What do you think of Vic's new system? Pacific Northwest. What do you think about Dr. Profit? He is preparing for a big short. So I don't know anything about him, but yeah, my understanding is he's a huge LARP. I've never interacted with the guy, ever. Never spoke to him, never engaged with him. But he blocked me. He blocked me as soon as I had like 10,000 followers. And again, never engaged with him. That's what he does. He blocks He blocks all the big accounts on CT so that they can't call him out in his shit. If you check that, like, almost everyone I know with a big following is blocked. I know from speaking with one of his BDs, who shall remain nameless, he gets crazy volume on his ref link. Like, crazy volume, because he has all these fucking idiots following him. And he has like 5 different private fucking communities. However, he himself trades almost nothing. Like, I know that I remember seeing once he had, like, he was talking about entering a big trade or like huge size trade. And someone shared a P&L card on X from his Discord. It was like 5 BTC or something. And look, I get it, like 5 BTC at the time, I guess BTC was trading at about 100k. It's a 500k position. There's nothing wrong with that, but like, this guy claims to be a fucking 8-figure trader, claims to be, you know, a multi-millionaire, claims to be moving markets, and motherfucker's trading a fucking, he's trading a 500k position. Opinion. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Is there someone in your group who can trade 15 5-minute candles who also does 10 trades a day? Yeah, Luke could be a good example of that. We have actually quite a few scalpers in the Discord. That's something that I'm always trying to balance. When we started Chromo, we just had high time frame traders, like swing traders. And that was an issue because guys want the dopamine. They want the excitement of someone, you know, trading the M1 chart. So the following like 2 years, I spent completely restructuring the Discord so that we were favoring lower time frame guys. And then we had the opposite problem last year, where we had almost no one who was like setting limit orders or high time frame trades or spot trades. It was all low time frame stuff, and if you weren't like in the Discord at the time, if you weren't awake and at your computer, you couldn't really join in. So we got members who were unhappy with that too. So it's really, you're trying to find a balance, you know? If someone writes those fucking 2 numbers because of what I just did with my hands, instant ban. Instant ban. You know what I'm talking about. Congrats on 7,000 subs. Thank you, Film Ninja. In no small thanks to the crack video editing team. Hi, fellas. I was not looking at charts for 3 days. What did I miss? What should I look for? Greetings from Poland. Well, greetings from Poland, my friend. I mean, the big news is that we've had a permanent ceasefire. At least that's what Trump is saying. Between Iran and America, which is kind of why we're getting this upside here. But I mean, more generally, I think it's becoming increasingly apparent that the markets don't really care about what Trump is saying, because if you look at the S&P, man, we've had a period of incredible uncertainty this month. Lots of peace deals falling through, lots of escalation, re-escalation. The Gulf of Hormuz was fully closed for quite a long time, quite a large amount of this month. I think at one point both America and Iran were blockading it, right? And yet, you look at the stock market from the start of April until now, and it's fucking straight up for 3 weeks, right? Literally straight up in the air for 3 weeks, right? This shit is up only. You look at BTC. From the start of April, straight up 21% in April so far. So I think that to me is indicative of a market that is increasingly becoming wise to an administration that is peddling bullshit on a daily basis. An administration that is frequently prone to spreading mistruths. And, you know, negotiations that are, I don't know, that are just completely lacking in substance. news headlines that are lacking in substance. So we've seen it, you know, we've seen it even with bad news, even with escalations. Price is still appreciating, and I think that's a good thing. Markets are decoupling a little bit from the news cycle, which is a good thing. As for where that leaves BTC, I think we can now start looking at technicals a little bit more. And the technicals here, right? I still think this is going to play out as a complex pullback. I still think this is going to play out as a lower high, right? You look at the high time frame structure from October to now. It's still very much in a downtrend, right? Oops, I don't know why that did that, but you know what I mean, right? This is still a lower high. We've seen several lower highs so far in this downtrend. Now, does that mean that we need to break above this high for me to flip bullish? That's a long way. That's a long way. That'd be basically, you're talking about 100k BTC there. I think at that point you're potentially late to the move, right? You're saying that price needs to go from 59k to 100k before you flip bullish. That's a pretty big move there, my friend. That's, you're looking at a 40% move or something like that. Oh, sorry, well, more actually, I should say. It's like 65%. That's you're missing a bit there. But I think for sure, if you look at this previous range that price was in from November to January, something like this, right? You can probably even pull that up, something like this. And this ties in with the question from earlier in the stream concerning ranges, right, Bullet Felix? Ranges and volume profiles, right? Let's do this. Whoops. Let's do inputs, no extension right, please. Let's do this. Okay. Now we look at that. We have a volume profile from October. And we have a range from October. I would say, do not need that. I would say that's a pretty good indication of whether or not the downtrend is over. We don't necessarily need to flip structure strictly. And I've said this before, structure and the rules concerning market structure should always be used as a guideline. And that's why it's important to know them really well. I've said this many times before. It's important to know them so that you know when you can break those rules and when you can ignore those rules entirely. And this is one of those scenarios where I would say that a strict interpretation of market structure rules will probably lead you astray. So with that in mind, I would say for me to flip my bias bullish, I would love to see us accept back inside this range. I would love to see something like this, right? At that point then we're trading into the high 80s, like I said, and I think a rotation up towards 100k is very, very, very much on the cards, right? You don't necessarily need to wait for this, you know, even though technically this is the last lower high that led to the lower low. So from a structural point of view, you want to see us break above this for the daily structure to shift. Yeah, I totally get that. But I think you can look for other indications that the trend is shifting. You should always view price action in a slightly more holistic way than strict interpretations of, oh no, that was the X candle that led to the Y down move. That was the X low that led to the high. That was the X high that led to the lower low. Therefore, that must be breached in order to yeah, those are strict interpretations of the rules, but that'll lead you astray more often than not. But you need to understand those rules so that you know when to apply them and when to disregard them. But with all that in mind, you know, this would be a long continuation setup, accepting back into the value area and going higher, right? You can even draw, and you know what? I'm going to pull this into a new chart because this is good shit. This is good shit. And I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss it. I have a clean chart here? I guess we can use this. So I'm going to draw this again. And we'll really drill down into both ranges. Okay. So that's the first range. And this is the second. Now, did everyone watch my auction market theory 5 rules? It's okay to say you didn't, but who here did? 5 rules of auction market theory is my most recent YouTube video. Who here watched that video? You watched half of it. Okay. It's not the ideal answer, but that's fine. Can someone tell me what rule I'm thinking of? Let me pull open the never did, never will. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. You're saying rule 1, if that's if price accepts into the value area is likely to revert to the other side. Yeah. It's not necessarily the one I'm looking for. Good morning, Chroma. What's up, Angel? How can ceasefire be permanent? You tell me. Yeah, it goes to show the ceasefire isn't permanent. Yeah, but that, I believe those are the words he used. Permanent ceasefire. Or indefinite, maybe, was the word. Guys, DK, my man. DK has it. Rule 3 is what I was looking for here. Once price accepts outside the value area, it is likely to become imbalanced and seek new value. Often the POC of an older value area. What does that mean? It means that if price is truly auctioning higher here, and price is truly seeking new value after having created value between February and whatever you want to call the end of that value area, let's say April, 2 months of value, that potentially now could be going back to a previous value area. In which case you set your sights on 90k, right? And this isn't fucking bullish hopium. You guys know me. I don't really do the bullish thing. I don't really do the bearish thing. I'm a trader. I don't give a shit about, you know, tribalistic viewpoints. I just trade what's on the chart in front of me. But yeah, for sure, if this is a successful auction, and you know, there's a lot of reason to believe that it might be. Right, we had this push outside the value area, we retested it, and then we sent higher. This is a pretty textbook successful auction. Right, now we're pushing higher. Price continues to show up, buyers continue to show up, show intent, aggressive move to the upside. Right, if this is to continue, right, we start retesting these range low levels, these value area low levels. I think you can pretty much start looking at 90k as a potential rotation target. And that would also be confluent with, you know, this whole idea that this is supply, because this is supply. It is validly formed supply. Can anyone tell me why it's validly formed supply? Why is this a high probability order block? What's up, Dream My Reality? Can anyone tell me why this is a high probability order block? Origin of the move that broke structure. Yes, Wojak Danny. Yes. I'm looking for more reasons. 5 order block rules. Yes, Festlin. It swept liquidity, Dream My Reality. Yes, exactly. Swept liquidity. That's another one. Swept liquidity. Accumulation, expansion lower. I mean, yes, that's how supply zones work. Absolutely. The high that led to the new lows. Yes, that's also a reason. Yes, it broke structure. It broke structure. So this move led to a structure breaking move. Sorry, this order block, this origin of the impulse led to a move that broke structure. Yes, correct. Is the other liquidity one relevant? I guess it isn't. Yeah. Origin of the move took liquidity when forming. Valid liquidity to target. That's also relevant, I guess. Liquidity sweep into the zone. Maybe not so relevant. Yeah, that's basically it, boys. But yeah, this is a high probability order block for those reasons. So if price comes up here, I think this is also where you start looking to reload shorts. But yeah, really interesting price action at the moment. Lots to read. Lots to read in the charts. What's up, Love Juice? What's up, Gorlami? Good to see you, bro. You love me, Modest Man. Thank you. I love you too. Developers have had better days for sure. Maintaining these codes will be a pain. Oh, sorry. You're saying that, what was it? $75% of codes? Is that what you're saying? I missed the comment. You're paying more attention to that first market complex pullback, volume profile over range. There you go. It's happening. The breakout is happening. What would be acceptance in the 80K range be in this case? Multiple daily closes inside of it? Yeah, acceptance means different things to different people. For me, I look at it from an order book point of view, right? Are the market participants happy to create value in that new range, right? Are they happy to trade price at that level? It's basically the opposite of whatever you think rejection is. Okay, and that might seem like a roundabout way of arriving at that definition. But if you think of rejection as market participants not being satisfied trading price at this level, right? Either they see it as too expensive or too cheap, and they aggressively push price away. Or maybe it's just a lack of interest, right? Buyers run out of momentum, lack of interest. It's seen as too expensive at this level, and price just returns to the origin of where it came from. Whereas acceptance is different, right? I think that a good example of that was after Trump got elected, right? It was very clear between March and October that the markets were in this kind of a holding pattern, right? There was no real inclination that buyers had enough juice in the tank to push price higher. There was no inclination that sellers had juice in the tank to push price lower. This was 55K to 70K was seen as fair value for BTC, and that lasted for like 6 months, right? That changed with the fundamental catalyst of Trump being elected. Now, fair value was no longer between 55 and 70K. Fair value was between like 90K and 110K, right? This was the new fair value for the asset. And we saw that because price went from ranging here. It trended for like a month, and then it ranged here, right? And you see that time and time again. The market will trend until it finds a place where both sides of the order book agree that the asset is fairly valued, fairly priced. And then it'll range. It'll range for, fucking ages. And then something will happen. There'll either be a technical reason or a fundamental reason for the markets to now say, well, hang on, actually, this asset is cheap or this asset is expensive. It'll reprice price lower or reprice higher, and then it'll begin to range again at the next level at which market participants determine that it's fairly valued, right? That's effectively how markets move. That's the whole idea of auction market theory. is that markets are constantly in flux because buyers and sellers are auctioning price higher or lower in order to determine collectively what fair value is. That's basically it. Isn't that OB actually a breaker? Why do you think it's actually a breaker? The breaker would be here, no? That breaker actually gave a reaction, which is really interesting to see. I didn't even see that. I'm just doing breakers. I spent all day yesterday writing about breakers in our new syllabus. This is a really good example. Right, let me make this a different color. I love this. I really like that. That's fascinating. Yes, this would have been the breaker, because this was the order block that you would have expected to hold if the structure were to continue to the upside. Instead, it did not hold, and it flipped to a breaker. Once price accepted below it, retest the breaker and nuke. That's very clean breaker price action. What's up, Dust? Unfortunately, can't listen to the stream. Hope you tell him to long 88k today. Long towards 88k, hopefully you mean. That's the breaker, yeah. But that already got used up. And I'm not looking at that level now. Or rather, I am looking at that level, but not necessarily that breaker. I am looking at this. Fucking hell. I am looking at this move being the move that led to the downside. I'm sure if you go to the 3-day, this will be a 3-day candle. No. 4-day? 5-day? Weekly? Not even weekly. 6-day? 8-day. There you go. So technically it is an 8-day order block, which is obviously stupid. Who the fuck uses 8-day? But the point is the same. It is an upside candle that led to a downside move that broke structure. G'day, Wes. Greetings from Adam Fartman. Love to hear it. Hope Adam is well. Sailor's Port is ripping hard. 64.29 billion. Nice. What if it was all a deviation below 75k? Yeah, that would be interesting. So you're saying what? This was the range, this was the deviation? Or do you mean... Oh, I see what you mean. Let me get this off the screen. You mean this was the range? That would be fascinating. Yeah, and it kind of looks like that now, doesn't it? Deviate the high, deviate the low. I had a fucking graphic for that recently. No, not recently, like a long time ago. Let's see if I can find it. Ranges? I don't know where it would be. GG the Bulls. Oh yeah, the candle closed. Wow, yeah. Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. GG the Bulls is right. Let's pick the winner. What's up, Dust Trades? Glad we are ditching the bear flag narrative. What is the bear flag narrative? Choose prediction outcome. Oof. The Bears were very much outnumbered. Sorry, the Bears were outnumbering the Bulls. Hella deviation, yeah. I want to look at that idea because I find that interesting. Hype. I can do hype, yeah, for sure. Let me see if I can find a clean chart. I have so many drawings on my charts now. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, this one looks good. FOMC. Interesting. I need to update that. So you're basically looking at... Whoops. Sorry for blinding everyone. Whoops. That's basically it, right? I don't hate the idea. Will be a pretty typical range, right? With Polymarket adding perps trading, why does it feel like these companies are going to drain this generation completely dry within the next 3 to 5 years? Because that's probably what's going to happen. Do you think that the Polymarket crowd are going to be net profitable? Matt with the repost. Appreciate it, Matt. Thank you. Confetti for you, sir. As always. I really want to find that that range schematic I had. See if I can find it very quickly here. I won't spend too much time. My folders are... Oh, found it. I think it was called deviations, not ranges. Ha. I actually can't find the one that I want. Yeah, of course. It was basically this schematic. I mean, that'll get the bulls horny. You're still here, Matt. Love to hear it. I think I posted this on X, no? I think I literally said study range deviations. Let's see if I can find that. It was a while ago. Yeah, I had a different version of that graphic. But yeah, the principle is the same. Bro, are you fucking serious, man? These trading view limits are wrecking my head. The underlying principle is the same. Deviate the high, deviate the low. When you're in a range like this, As soon as the deviation is confirmed and price accepts back into the range, you look for a rotation to the other side. Yeah, that wasn't the exact one, Sis. It wasn't the exact one. It was this graphic. I think this is the one. This is the one, to be honest. Hype deviated above. Hype BTC looks topish. Hype H12 looks like a solid higher high and higher lie, though. So you want me to do H12 daily, something like that? Oh, we got a little pop here off Monero. Sorry, not Monero, Monad. Monero, I think, actually ran our level, didn't it? Yeah. You boys remember where we drew these arrows? This was like 2 weeks ago. This is pretty good, I must say. I don't call them all this well, but this was a good one. Retest. Trade higher. Accept back above mid-channel and push higher. Let's see if we can go right to channel high here. That's a nice one. That was a really nice read. Top to bottom, it must be what? 15%? 16%. Oh yeah, LIT. I'm not in this, by the way. I've seen a few guys have been trading this. What is this track? It's Mount Grace by Christian Loeffler. Outrageous. I'm gonna share that in all the chats because that's just too good. So yeah, you guys might remember we set these long orders for Hype like back in January or something. January or December is quite a while ago. And at the time, Hype was downtrending, had been downtrending. It was like minus 60% from the highs, something like that. I was really confident. Really confident. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one, Sis. The deviations. Deviations. Of course I can't, yeah, that's the one I was looking for. Thank you. Sis, thank you. Will drink. Yeah, so I was really confident. I remember at the time I was very, very sure we were going to get sub 20. Instead, we went to 20.4 and then bounced, and I have been sidelined ever since. Price is now 2x. Do not have an entry on this. I own 0 Hype, which is unfortunate, but those are the breaks. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I am coping hard, as you can see. Who was my mentor? I don't think I had a mentor. I had a few different mentors. I don't think I had any one person. You'll save this track. Absolute banger. It's so good. Like 11 years old as well. I would say Trader Main had a very big impact on my trading style. Like obviously ICT as well, but again, I've never watched any ICT content. I barely know who he is. But a lot of the guys I learned from him, if that makes sense. There was a guy, he's not on Twitter anymore. His name is Lotus XBT. I probably have some of his fucking educational content somewhere. Imagine making a banger like this. Lotus. Let me see if I can find his... He had a PDF. Oh yeah, Lotus XBT trading model. Here's the sauce, boys. Here's the sauce. Let's see if I can... Lotus XBT. He deleted his Twitter. He completely left the space. I guess he just didn't want to be here anymore. CT's a pretty toxic place, so I understand that. But yeah, man, he released this trading model like back in like 2021 when I was just getting into price action trading, and I was like, holy shit, this is great. I would say as well, Tyler, RIP Tyler. I learned a lot of price action trading from Tyler, which is funny because the guy, you know, at the time the guy was 13 years younger than me, 14 years younger than me. I was like 30, 31. He was like 18, which is mad. Yeah, RIP the GOAT. What a legend. Him and his old business partner, a guy called Josh. They had a Discord. They had like a educational series called Trade Talk. Trade Talk. It was fucking great. I learned so much from them. Volume profile stuff, I learned a lot of that from Ape Trade. Adam. Shout out Adam. Yeah, then you just pick up bits and pieces here and there, right? So, hype. Looking at hype. I'm trying to come up with let's say a new plan. Let me get the clean chart up here. Who's my favorite FVG trader? We don't call them FVGs anymore. FVG is a dirty word now. Okay. Well, yeah, the first thing I notice here is very clearly structure is in favor of higher. I'll change those to green in a second. This is clean. We can do a little bit of a lesson on market structure here as well. We'll just take the structure from after 1010. Otherwise it's a bit scuffed. Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me these yellow highs and lows? Can anyone tell me why we don't draw them in? Can anyone tell me why I don't look at them? Follows my fave, up or down trader, yeah. Is my name Azra? Hey, Osbra, what about an entry long in Monad? What do you think? Not an account that I know. Last message was 2024. Well, you know, I've often said, you know, if my name isn't Osbra, then I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And by all that is good in this world, you know, as a native francophone, as a native Parisian, I just love the idea of higher prices into the remainder of the year. "2024, he really came out of retirement to call me Osbra." That's good though. Deviation, bruh. I like that. I like that. Right, so we're dealing with a uptrend here. Very clearly. There's actually a very clean reversal off the low as well. What's up, Katie? What's up, Kumar? What's up, Christopher? Internal structure. Yes, exactly. You guys all have it. Internal structure, internal highs and lows, internal range liquidity. Exactly. Exactly. YouTube chat nailed it that time. Twitch chat, not so much. Twitch chat, we're lacking. Twitch chat, we're lacking. I'm being a little bit lackadaisical about where I draw these imbalances, but that is intentional. I want to draw the breaker here, but didn't quite come down. Same here. So we got to deal with the low probability imbalance, right? The low probability inefficiency. Let's look at targets. Someone was saying that they think that Hype XBT is topped. Sorry, Hype BTC is topped. I wonder, you know, do we get... It kind of reminds me a little bit of Morpho. You guys remember that? Maybe we get a little bit more of a pullback that really fucks everyone over. That'd be very typical of crypto. Bripto. Brother, I can feel the 10K candle loading. There you go. It's the end of that set. That's a good one. My man Christian. My man Christian. Okay. We got Catania on. Last stream I watched before I enter here was a guy with that name. All good, Fiku. Is there a way to predict when a displacement high time frame candle might probably happen on hype? A displacement high time frame candle? What do you mean, is there a way of predicting? All our breakers will break and all our levels will be taken out before the bottom. Yes. What do you think about the fact that OI has been going up the whole way on BTC's squeeze coming? Short squeeze. Yeah, OI is up huge. CVD is up. Price is up. Funding is dropping as well, which is hilarious. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. Price up, OI up, both CVDs up. Meanwhile, funding just slowly going down. Flows, CVD, spot buying, etc. I don't know. If there is a way of determining, then I am not privy to it. What does it mean when funding is going down? It means that people are shorting. Shorts are paying longs. Do you think LIT catches up ever? Yeah, we had a long idea on LIT, but I don't know, man. It's hard to say with that coin. Feels like the people who are the community members are kind of, I don't know. I just see them beefing with the Hyperliquid guys all the time. They both seem a little bit childish. Funding is the main source of income for market makers. Yeah, funding, spread. Do market? I guess market makers do ARB, right? Yeah, funding and spread for sure. I'm trying to think of a plan here, Film Ninja, and I can't really think of one if I'm being honest. I don't really like trading coins that are 2x in 3 months. A bit difficult. But yeah, for sure. I mean, it looks good for continuation. I'll say that much. Something like this. I don't really have a strong opinion on hype here. I certainly won't be buying it at this level. I prefer to buy much lower. And if I'm sidelined, then I'm sidelined. That's fine. But No, probably no. Kind of looks like a MMBM, doesn't it? Now that I look at it. Who knows what MMBM is? I don't even fucking remember what MMBM is. Like this. I don't really remember this. And then this. I don't really remember. MMBM. Market maker buy model. Wow, I have a really good graphic about it though. That's an MMBM, market maker buy model. I don't think I even trade these anymore. Hype long is a crowded trade, yeah. Probably is. I would prefer to stock up spot when it becomes cheap and no one wants it, not here when everyone's buying it and everyone's trying to top blast. Just not my style. I don't know. Let's see. It's just not a coin I'm terribly interested in at these prices. I think that if we come lower, sure, but here there's nothing for me to do. LIT. What about LIT? What about Monad? We covered Monad last stream. Merc must be happy with his high position. Yep. Almost certainly, yes. Yeah, Monad looks pretty good. Your gonads are pumping. That's a that's a good piece of information. Boys, I think we're gonna call it there. What are we on now? An hour and a half. Yeah, I'm gonna call it there because I have to go bounce and do some work. But yeah, this was it basically. I mean, the TLDR here is I do not think you should be shorting. We are in the right zone for it for sure, but there's no point shorting without confirmation. You're just picking up pennies in front of the moving train. And I covered that in a video. High probability trading setup. That's not it. My plan for shorting BTC. Yeah, this. Go watch this video on X. My plan for shorting BTC, and this is the best way to fade an uptrend. Just go check that out. It's just basically talking about confirmation when it comes to shorting a strong move like this. The TLDR is there's fucking no point trying to pick up pennies in front of the steamroller. You're just gonna get hurt. Wait for the confirmation, wait for the trend to actually shift, and then trade with it instead of against it. I do think that, you know, we're at a level where it's starting to make sense to look for shorts, but that doesn't mean that you just YOLO short here. You're gonna get blown up. I would love to see us sweep into this imbalance, maybe tap this previous low from the November to January range, something like that. As I've said here, this would be an ideal short setup in my opinion, but you know, there's no point shorting this big green dildo because you're just gonna get wrecked. Don't try and time the top. Don't try and guess when it's gonna occur, right? But yeah, super interesting market right now. I think one of the interesting charts we looked at was this one with the auction market theory rules. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Auction market theory rules, and also, yeah, range deviation. I actually really like that chart. I don't know why I haven't been looking at it more seriously. Kind of like this, I'm not gonna lie. It wouldn't be what I expect, but ranges are ranges, right? All right, boys, we're gonna call it there. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Sis. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Nine Manny. Thank you, Haj. Thank you, Micro Sailor. Yes, we are back on Friday for the last stream of the week. Next week, I'm not sure. I think we might just do 2 streams because I'm fucking full speed ahead with the educational content now, and we're trying to get it ready. Trying to get the first 3 modules ready to launch 1st of May. we're pretty close. We're pretty close. So yeah, that's my focus at the moment. So I might just do 2 streams next week so that I can spend more time on that. But yes, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining today. Have I taken a look at LIT Unicorn instead of playing out? I don't think it is playing out that well, though. I think it's... LIT is bouncing because the market is bouncing, but it actually looks kind of shitty here. Not gonna lie. No worries, Kenslar. Thanks, Film Ninja. Thanks, Saberlon. Module 1 sell in May. Yeah. Au revoir. Friday, last stream of the week. Maybe volatility incoming. Yes, maybe. Next payout will go to a Chroma membership. Need to level up my trading. Let's go. Appreciate that, man. Thank you, Burlak. Thank you, Haj. All right, boys. We're going to call it there. I will see you on Friday for the next stream. Until then, try not to get liquidated, and I will see you next time. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Love you. Bye-bye.